Hey, what's up? Ken from Palm Beach Dyno here, and we've got another epic video with huge news. The S650 Whipple is now tunable. We've got Danny's RTR on the dyno. Now, of course, you know, we could have modified this thing crazy and made huge power and thrown up a big dyno number, but that's not why we're here, and that's not why you guys watch these videos. You watch them to learn. So we're gonna start with a bone stock RTR, but that's not all we're gonna do. In later videos, we're gonna be adding headers, different pulley, maybe a fuel system E85. The sky is the limit, but everybody wants to know what tuning does. So all we're gonna do in this video is baseline it, tune it on 93, and then we're just gonna put some MS-109 and see what it does with huge octane. I'm also gonna go over all the benefits of a Palm Beach Dyno custom tune over a Whipple tune. The Whipple tune has been great. Obviously, people really haven't had a choice, but it's done awesome. As you've seen, these cars scaled up to huge power, really quick ETs, but there's a catch, and custom tuning solves that. So let's go ahead and do a baseline, and we'll talk about that throughout the video. We're all set up in the car for the baseline. I'm gonna go ahead and do the first one in 6th. We'll try 7th, but I have a feeling the factory speed limiter is gonna stop us there. And then we'll go over the numbers. We'll probably do all our comparisons in 6th. And then when we're done at the end, I'll do some 7th gear pulls fully tuned up with the speed limiter removed. All right, let's go ahead and try the pull in 7th gear and see what happens. Okay, yeah, pulled me up short. Let's go review the numbers, and then we get to load the Palm Beach Dyno custom tune. All right, here are the baselines. We're gonna go over those in just a minute, but let's talk about the car. This is a brand new RTR. I mean, brand new, just over 100 miles, and it features a 3.8 pulley with the Whipple Stage 2. So this is a baseline Whipple Stage 2 setup. Of course, the Stage 1 is gonna be lower than this. Made 662 and 513 in 6th gear, and in 7th gear, 648 and 548. But of course, the speed limiter stopped us. I mean, you can kind of guesstimate, you can kind of guesstimate what we would have gained here in 7th gear if you just say, okay, this is 35 horsepower more. So we're basically really close to 700, which is about right in these weather conditions. You've seen us do, you know, close to 800 with octane boost, low to mid 700s in decent weather, but I am sweating right now. You've been hearing me say that this whole time with all this new tuning, and it's just as hot in here today. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and load the PBD tune. Of course, we're gonna be able to get rid of the speed limiter, but we'll do all the comparisons in 6th gear while we're tuning, and then at the end, we'll go ahead and do 7th gear pull to see the final number. Let's load the PBD tune. Tune's all loaded up. Obviously, this is our very first S650 Whipple tune, but we've done tons of Whipple vehicles. Obviously, F-150s, S650s, everything can have a Whipple on it, and we've probably tuned it, so we have a good place to start. Let's see what happens. Not a bad gain up top. It kind of went right back where the factory file was, but of course, we're gonna be fighting all sorts of torque limits and different things in the Whipple file that we're gonna have to get through. So this isn't gonna be an easy tune-up, but when we're done, I think it's gonna be worth it. Well, not too bad for the very first flash. As you can see, peak numbers didn't really change much at all. 664 from 662. We did pick up on the torque. We went from 513 to 530. If you look at the graph here, down here, we're up, I don't know, about 20 horsepower. But at the very top, it kind of comes pretty much exactly the same as factory. Now, I want to talk about PBD custom tuning versus Whipple tuning. Of course, the Whipple tune has been incredible. I tell Dustin Whipple this all the time. I can't believe how scalable they made it. You know, the same tune, you're throwing different fuels in, it's handling it. But there's a catch. It's still a compromise. Because they cannot customize the tune, knock sensors are relied heavily on to add timing. And this may be what's going on here. It's adding timing, and then it goes, no, I don't want to add timing. Well, some tuners do this all the time on purpose. Whipple has to do it so it scales. I don't do that. I'm the tuner, not the knock sensors. The knock sensors are going to be there to pull timing in case of a problem, but we try to limit how much they can add. Ideally none, maybe a little bit if we really want to make the tune a little bit flexible. But I think that's partly what's going on here. With the PBD custom tune, not only is our file have a higher speed limiter, higher rev limiter, higher shifts, you can do things properly, like run full E85. I mean, the list is endless. Whipple did a great job getting us to this point with their file, and lots of people will have a good time with that file. But if you want to make big power, you absolutely need a custom tune. So I'm going to make some changes and see what kind of improvements we can make up here. All right, I made some various changes to the top end. That's where we're going to mostly focus from here on out until we get a nice clean curve. $685, not bad, not bad. Still limiting the up top, but let's go over it. All right, 685, 539, definitely some improvements. As you can see here, down here is similar. We picked up some here. We extended the RPM range where we have this issue. I'm still working through this. And then up here, we picked up a nice chunk of power. Again, this is a process. This takes a very long time. As we go through this process, I'm sure our tunes are going to get much better. That's why Palm Beach Dyno is offering 12 months of free support. So if you buy an S650 Whipple tune today and we tune it in 3 to 4 months, you can hit us up and go, hey, what kind of improvements do you have? And we can take care of you. All of our newer tuning, we're trying to send out with revision numbers, not like R1 or R2, but an actual multi-digit code. That way you can give us that and tell us exactly what that tune is based off of and whether we can make improvements on that. All you have to do is send us in a sport ticket and we will check your tune to see if it's, you know, improved. But we've got some time. We're just starting. Let's make some changes. Made some more changes. Going to try and fix the top end, but what we also are going to do is rev it higher. I've been revving it to the same RPM as we were on the Whipple tune, but obviously we can go much higher. So I'm going to start revving it out to about 8,000, maybe not on the first hit, but eventually going to work our way to 8,000 RPM. Okay, not exactly what I was looking for. We did get the RPM I was looking for. We're still limited up top. I got to look over the log and see what's going on. This is the difficult part about tuning a brand new application. There could be all sorts of limits built in here, and we have to find them one by one, but we will find them. Anyway, let's look over the graph, and then I'll let you know what I see in the data log. All right, this is an interesting one. 683, 536. Both numbers are lower. So why am I showing you this? Well, you have to understand the tuning process isn't all, you know, up and away. You have to learn what's going on. We did see an improvement here. We're not tuning for just peak numbers. As you can see, the shape of the curve, we've been dealing with this dip in this area and it keeps getting better. Now the orange curve has extended even further before it dips. So I think one more change and I can get rid of this last little dip, rev it all the way out to 8,000 RPM, and hopefully we can hit that 700 mark in 6th gear. So let's see what happens. All right, I went over the data log. There's quite a few things here that I'm seeing: fueling, timing, cam timing, all sorts of things I just changed. So we're gonna pull it all the way up again, see what we get. Yes, all right, over 706 gear. We are making some progress. Let's look it over. All right, there it is, 704 and 545. Absolutely awesome looking power curve now. I did not pull it all the way up to 8,000 RPM. We're going to be doing that next. I wanted to kind of keep it where the Whipple tune was, and then we're going to extend it, which is going to be this next pull. It'll probably be a similar curve, pull a little bit higher, and then we're going to put MS-109 in it. Why MS-109? Well, this vehicle is a stock Stage 2 setup, so we can't run E85. The injectors and fuel system aren't really enough. Of course, we could do E30 and all that, but those are compromises. We have MS-109 here, which we can put in the tank, put proper octane in, and those numbers will be fairly comparable to E85. Eventually, this car may get a fuel system. It's probably definitely getting another pulley. It's getting headers. That's why it was here in the first place. So let's go ahead and do one more pull all the way out to 8,000 RPM, and then we'll put the MS-109 in it. Okay, I don't see a whole lot left to change. I let it cool off a little bit. I've been doing the pulls fairly quickly. I want to get it back to like a fair temperature. We'll probably pick up a little bit more here, and then we're going to switch over to the MS-109. Remember, this is all on one pulley. We haven't changed a single part on the vehicle. The only thing we're going to be changing is fueling, and that's coming up. $716. Well, as I expected, it obviously picked power up. It's still picking power up at 8,000 RPM, but we're going to call it good there. We can rev it higher if you really want to. I'm sure it would be okay, but we want to be easy on this engine. 8,000 for sure is safe. 716, 546. As I told you, it's pretty similar down here, almost identical. We cleaned up some roughness here and extended the RPM range. Now, I cannot wait to see what it does with some octane. All right, actually, we're going to do a pull in 7th gear first and compare that to the 7th gear baseline. Of course, the 7th gear baseline wasn't to full RPM, but we can see the trend. So let's do that pull first. Then we're going to put the MS-109 in it. All right, there you go. 734 and 570. Peak numbers are not really relevant. I'll show you the gains here in a minute. Don't forget, on 7th gear, you're going super fast, depending on the tire. It doesn't always work out. On a stock radial type tire, it's usually okay. Let's take a look and see what kind of speeds we hit. That's the telling number there. Oh, I don't know, 175 miles an hour. Obviously, that tire is getting hot, but it still made more power in 7th gear than it did earlier. As far as gains, let's put it back on RPM. Okay, so right there, we're up 32. It's gonna change depending on where I put the cursor. We'll just call it 25 to 30 horsepower on the same exact configuration, but there's way more benefits like I showed you. More RPM, huge differences here. Obviously 4th gear, the speed limiter was stopping us, but as you saw in the 6th gear pulls, RPM, speed limiter, higher shift points, that's gonna make a huge difference in your trap speeds. All right, now it's time for some octane. We're gonna go ahead and switch it over to MS-109. This shouldn't really take very long. It's pretty much a couple little adjustments in fueling and more timing, and that's where the power is gonna come from. So let's go ahead and do it. MS-109 is in the tank. New tune is loaded. Let's see what happens. Hell yeah! Not bad for the first hit on MS-109. Let's take a look. 750 in 6th gear, 558. There's a slight dip there. I'm not going to chase these numbers. We're just kind of showing you what the high octane fuel can do. I might be able to fix that. Who knows what's going on there. But I still want to see this thing in 7th gear and do a 7th gear comparison as well. Like I said, we're taking this thing up above 170 miles an hour. So that can confirm that the speed limiter is fixed for those of you guys that don't believe it. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a pull in 7th gear and see how that compares to the 7th gear baseline. And then I want to go over all the things we can do here for you at Palm Beach Dyno with our custom tuning. All set for the final pull in 7th gear. Big power, big speed. Let's see what happens. 765, 583. Absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, this is only a 3/8 pulley, stock exhaust, you know, as the car comes with only about 130 miles on it at this point. Absolutely crazy. We've got tons more coming with this vehicle. Like I said, we're doing headers, a pulley, maybe a fuel system. We'll see what happens. But Palm Beach Dyno Tuning, let me tell you a little bit about that. Palm Beach Dyno Tuning is probably one of the only remote tuners out there that have a full service staff answering phones. You can call us anytime, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and the guys up front can help you place an order online. If you have any issues with tuning help, we can help. We also offer a premium service where you can have a phone number directly to the tuning department. Without that, everything is email related. But I welcome anybody to call the front desk if you need any help. And of course, if we're tuning you, please give us a call for some parts. We sell everything under the sun. Our website isn't always the most complete. We're very, very busy with tuning and doing this sort of development. But on the phone, we can get you any part you want. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.